This is the Group 9 presentation for Hudepohl Brewing. Some competitive problems that they had is that they had such a manual intensive production process where their larger factories were starting to turn to technology to automate some of the brewing process. They were underutilizing their production capacity, utilizing less than 40% of its million barrel capacity. They also had one of the highest advertising expenditures as percentage of sales in 1978, and they're overspending in local marketing budgeting. Some of the economic trends during the time was that the top 6 firms took up about 82% of the beer market. They were all vertically integrated into areas such as yeast, malt, grain, can, and bottling. And the top 6 firms had large-scale plants. They advertised heavily, and they distributed mostly through independent wholesalers. Wages in the brewing industry were consistently higher than the average for all manufacturing firms, and most U.S. breweries used a batch size and technology similar to Hudepohl's.
Looking at the value change, our view on the brewing is that currently they're at a disadvantage due to the fact that they're underutilizing their process. Because the demand is low, they're only running at 40% of their current utilization. Some of the problems that we also noticed with the company and the way that they're doing things is the fact that because the demand is so low, they've got a lot of unused equipment in their facility at this time. Men or employees are not trained accordingly, and so we're seeing a lot of problems within the ranks there. So our cost drivers that we really focused on would be labor, manufacturing equipment, and raw materials. The second part there with bottling, we also find currently it's at a disadvantage. We believe all of these can be turned around in the future with appropriate changes, but they're just inefficient with the increasing costs. When we look closely at the article, you could see really quickly that there were issues with the way, once again, the training was done with the workforce. The unionized workforce seemed to be a problem where all the employees were making the same money no matter what they did. However, it was difficult to interchange these workers to do all the different jobs that were required at the time. Totally, we're only running at about 40% capacity with packaging. And then finally, distribution. We looked at this a couple different ways, but one of the things that we saw right now was that it would be an advantage for the independent distributors to be taking care of or distributing our barrels. They're very heavy, and it seemed like we were losing a lot of time and had a lot of downtime with our own employees while they were delivering. Bottles would be a little bit of a disadvantage because we are losing profit on that when we could be doing the delivery ourselves, especially in and around Cincinnati. The cost driver there would be reduced profit. For our own distribution network, again, like I mentioned, the barrels would be for us to do it would be a disadvantage. We saw lots of downtime. Those barrels are over 300 pounds, and so it took a lot of manpower. Plus, there was a lot of wasted time collecting money and getting back to getting back to work. However, being able to deliver the bottles would be an advantage because we do increase money, and we don't have to have as many workers or laborers to deliver that. So cost drivers there, labor, trucks, and lack of wasted time there.
So one of the largest contributors to the gross margin is the brewing, and then the distribution is second, and that's mainly due to the bottled product. So our recommended strategy for Hudepohl is to focus on their own distribution for bottles and to use independent distributors for barrels. Their marketing focus, we recommend that they find a niche in their target market, beer made by Ohioans for Ohioans, be an Ohioan, and increase tap consumption in Cincinnati and increase bottle consumption outside of Cincinnati, and redistribute the marketing budget and focus on other major Ohio cities. reduce that 700,000 that they spent just on Cincinnati and spread it out among the other cities. We also recommend find a famous Ohioan for a target marketing campaign, and then make their premium Hofbrau beer brewed to order, and pre-order for novelty consumption, as it's only 1% of current revenue.